Wow, wow, wow. Okay, guys. So Moana 2 is happening. Just announced today. It was originally supposed to be a Disney Plus series for a 2023 release, but today they announced that November 27th, 2024, this year, they are releasing Moana 2, which that's wild. And yeah, so this is a lot. Bob Iger said that he was impressed with the footage, so they decided to turn it into a feature movie, and they're going to release it in theaters. And yeah, wow, this is kind of wild. And we have a synopsis and everything, and it says, like, after receiving an unexpected call from her wayfinding ancestors, Moana must journey to the far seas of Oceania, and into dangerous, long-lost waters for an adventure unlike anything she's ever faced. Honestly, that synopsis doesn't really tell us anything. But, wow, yeah, this is wild. It's separate from the live-action remake based on the first movie that's, like, set for 2025. And Dwayne Johnson and Annalie Carvalho are expected to return for Moana 2, but it's not like confirmed or announced or anything. And wow, this is wild. And I think the switch to being a feature-length film that's released in theaters is interesting. Like, I think people are getting all worried, like, oh, like, you know, they switched it, and I'm worried. What if it's like bad? And like, it seems like they're gonna release it so fast, but like, it makes sense. Like, this was originally gonna be a show that was supposed to be already released in 2023, and so. And back when they announced it back in 2020 during COVID. I think they were all hyping up about how they wanted to make it like a series with feature length quality, and like they always say that, but like it makes sense. Like Moana kills it every single time in the streaming numbers on Disney Plus. Like kids love Moana, they love Moana. And like back then, I thought it was really dumb for them to like make it a series, and now that like Disney is kind of blundering a little bit, taking hits with Marvel, and Star Wars is struggling, and just like their animated movies suck. I think like Moana 2 is a guaranteed box office hit, and so like releasing it in theaters like makes so much financial sense too. And I still think separately like there's like a lot of potential for like a weekly monster series type beat, like Monster of the Week kind of thing. And I would assume that would be part of like a general pitch for a Moana show like in the beginning. So I'm curious to see like how much of it being a TV series would be like noticeable in the final project. But I think it just makes a lot of sense for this to be moved. And I think yeah, I don't know. I do think there's some problems with like the creative team. Like I'm worried about it. Like the director is David Derrick Jr., who have never heard his name before, but he was an artist on the first movie, and he was the head of the story for Strange World, which is a really bad movie. And yeah, that's all we know so far. But like the creative team for the first movie was like amazing. Like even though I have problems with the first movie, like the movie is still a good one. And Ron Clements and John Musker. They directed the first one, and they worked together on like Little Mermaid, Hercules, Aladdin, and Jared Bush wrote like the script for the first movie, and he co-directed and wrote Zootopia, which I love. And so there's a lot of trust in that team, and like it makes sense why they turned out something that was good. But now like I feel like it's a huge loss not having any of them coming back, which Jared Bush might, because I think he's pretty related into like the whole Disney animation thing. So he maybe he'll be like head of story or like a producer or something like that. But going from like Ron Clements and John Musker to David Derrick Jr. as the director, like that's tough. And another interesting thing for the music, Abigail Barlow and Emily Baer are the ones writing the songs, and then Opataya Foya, I messed that up, and Mark Mancina are writing more of the music, and no Lin-Manuel Miranda, which I think is so tough. Like that's a huge loss. Like say whatever you want to say about his like overexposure and like him being in everything, but like he is great at what he does, and he adds his own like twist and flavor to everything. And like I personally think that twist and like that flavor is appealing and fun and exciting, and like he brings people in and he like makes people excited for stuff. And so like that I think is a huge loss. I think Opataya Foaya and Mark Mancina like being back, that's great. Like I loved all of what they did. Like Mark Mancina also had like a great score in the first movie. Abigail Barlow and Emily Baer being like the main people for the songs, like I don't really know too much about them. Like Baer won a Grammy for the unofficial Bridgerton musical TikTok thing, which is cool, but then they also got sued for like copyright stuff, which like I don't really know how much of that is like legitimate or whatever. And like the pair has been doing a lot of unofficial stuff, like they made things for Taco Bell and stuff, and so like this feels like the first like kind of real work that they're doing. Maybe I think Emily Baer has like a lot more credits as like a composer and a writer, but I don't know, we'll see. But I think another thing that I think is interesting, and it gets to the part like where I want to talk about like what I want to see in this movie, is the characters. And there's this one image that they've released so far, the characters on a boat, and you see Moana, Maui, Heihei, and Pua, and which that's huge dubs that Pua is like going on the adventure this time, because like it made no sense for him to not be on it. Like he was in concept art of the first movie, and we thought that he would be on it. And like maybe this is another thing where like they just like kind of pull the rug out from underneath us and pretend that Pooh is going on the trip, but he doesn't. But like it seems like this shot that they released, it doesn't look like concept art. It looks like a finished shot almost. But who knows? Whatever. But also in the image, you see like three more people, and the synopsis talks about like more like sea people that she like joins up with or whatever. But you see a little girl, an old grandpa, and a young adult guy. And I think it's interesting because I think the little girl will be interesting. The most like plot story heart interesting. The old grandpa seems like he'll just be there for laughs and jokes, and the young adult guy, I don't really know. It gives me like Crude's vibes this time of like Moana being Eep, Guy being Maui, and then you just have like the eclectic group of people who are kind of like there, and like for the Crudes, right? You had like it was mostly interactions between the dad, Guy, and Eep, and I feel like the third character will probably be that young girl, because number one, what I want to see is Moana being a leader, and I think like that being a leader is like really difficult in real life, and like there's so many dramas, tensions, and tough gray area decisions that come with like storylines that deal with leadership, or like being the chief, or being someone who's responsible for a group of people, right? And so like for some like story thoughts, right? Like it's tough to show her being a leader when you like go on an adventure. Like that's kind of a problem with these adventure things that have like a group of people at home, because like you're separated from the people you're trying to lead, right? And like you're leaving that home base. So I think that's where like this little girl in the image could come in. Like Moana is going to have to grow and be a symbol of strength, and like a teacher and a leader and a more mature person to this younger girl, like an older sister, right? And I think that's exciting. I think that could be really good. And yeah, that dynamic between Maui, a little more childish, and then Moana coming into her own, and this like young girl with whatever, I don't know, whatever characteristics that she has. Two, I think I want Maui to actually be a character. Like in my Moana rewrite, like I talk about how Maui is just useless and doesn't really need to be there, and like so like actually doing something with Maui, and like what does it look like for Maui and Moana to like be equals and peers and teammates, and like you could literally just pull any like character flaw or trait or strength out of a hat, because like Maui kind of completed his arc of like finding his identity and whatever. So they're gonna have to find something for him to do. Like you want to avoid that like Toy Story 4 Buzz thing where you just like send Maui on like some other dumb thing and like don't actually give him meat in the story to do. But I think the last thing that I would like to see is like a second people group, because like currently Motunui is not really defined by anything anymore. Like as a people, as a place, as a culture, as a set of beliefs. Like before, Motunui was just kind of like the dad saying like, no, going beyond the reef, we stay here, we have everything that we need. But now obviously that's been changed after the first movie, right? And it's exciting because now as chief, Moana can define that, and we can see how that like forms or becomes like established, right? And like we can see the state of Motunui being reflected on like the character of Moana, or what she believes, or whatever lies that she believes, or whatever flaw that she has in terms of leadership or like vision for whatever, right? And like that could be established, and that's really interesting, right? And I think the synopsis talks about like the wayfinding ancestors are calling her back, right? And so she has to go on an adventure to go find them or whatever. It sounds like a lot like Frozen 2, which is like, oh, like there's a voice calling, so I have to like go do it. And like I hope that they have something better planned than just like, oh, like Elsa, it was you. Anyways, I think that we can see like the ancestors calling out to multiple descendants, and that would be really interesting because you could have like three different parties, right? Like you could have the ancestors, you can have Motunui, Moana's people, and then you can have the other people group, right? And you can see how like since like the common ancestor, what was common there, and like how they've branched off into different like ideals and beliefs and trajectories, and like how that says something about something. Like I don't, it's really vague right now, but like I don't pretend to know what it would be because I don't know anything about Polynesian culture and stuff, and I don't know like where that could go. But like, I think there's a good structure there of like you have the pieces. Obviously, you need to pick what like those pieces come together and be, right? But overall, generally, like actually very excited, and it's gonna come out pretty soon, like this year, and it's like coming out in maybe like 10 months or something like that. So I'm excited. Let's see how far it goes.